Hi, welcome to This Is Homeschooling, a YouTube series produced by SEA Homeschoolers organization. This Is Homeschooling provides how-to information and support home educators need in order to successfully provide their children with an individualized education. The series starts with a description of who's in the modern secular homeschool community. And if you don't know much about our community, you are in for some surprises. We break the stereotypes of who homeschools and what the education we're providing our children looks like. And we have the evidence, the data to back this up. In 2023, we conducted a survey through SEA Homeschoolers. We had 3,035 respondents, and we used those results to describe who's in the modern secular homeschool community. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Blair Lee. I have degrees in evolutionary biology and chemistry from the University of California at San Diego. I taught human heredity and chemistry at the college level, and for over 20 years I have immersed myself in the cognitive science of how people best learn. I'm the author of over 17 curricula, and I am a secular homeschooler. 9 years ago, I started a group called SEA Homeschoolers, Secular Eclectic Academic Homeschoolers. We have about 150,000 families worldwide, which makes us the largest secular homeschool community in the world. Now, if you're starting to wonder, who are these people like me who've chosen to make themselves responsible for their children's education? Let's get started so you can find out. In 2023, the Washington Post reported that the fastest growing area of education is homeschooling. The homeschool community was already growing before the COVID-19 pandemic, but it was slow. Then in 2020, everything changed. As indicated by the data from the U.S. Census Bureau, this growth continued even when in-person classes started again. In 2019, 2.8% of school-aged children were homeschooled. During the 2022-23 school year, 6% were. This growth is in part fueled by the secular homeschool community. And in our community, at least, the growth seems to be continuing. As you'll see, the data show the modern secular homeschool community to be diverse and inclusive, full of home educators committed to providing a personally meaningful, enriched education for our children. We use resources that are evidence-based, meaning the materials we use present facts, theories, and models as recommended by a majority of practicing experts in a field. As examples, our children learn evolution is factual, that human-caused climate change is real, and slavery is a horrific evil that was not of benefit to the enslaved in any way. The word secular in our name might make you think we're an anti-religious community, but that would be an incorrect stereotype. Our survey data showed us to be split about 50-50 for people who are of faith and those who aren't. The of faith cohort comprises a number of different faiths, such as Christians, including Catholics, Unitarians, Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists, Jews, and more. When it comes to homeschooling, what the term secular generally makes us is an a-religious community. We believe in the separation of church and state, and we want academic materials that support that. We want our children to learn factual information without the infusion of religion. Despite myths to the contrary, one of the fastest growing sectors of the homeschool community is not conservative. We tend to be a progressive or liberal community. It used to be that our political affiliations were not a determining factor in why we chose to homeschool. That's changing in some states. Our survey showed that for 26% of respondents, one of the deciding factors for starting homeschooling were changes to curricula in red states. 67% cited one reason for starting to homeschool were new policies that made schools unsafe or lack of policies that would make them safe. You know that myth that homeschoolers aren't qualified to teach their children? Now, before I share this next data set, I want to be clear. Some of us have taught or could teach based on our educational background, but you do not need those in order to do a fantastic job homeschooling your child. The resources, support, and technology available to home educators make it possible for anyone to homeschool successfully. However, the majority of survey respondents did go to college. Our community is full of people who know what a personally meaningful education looks like because we got one. Secular homeschoolers are highly invested in learning outcomes for our students. We see ourselves as lifelong learners who value evidence-based learning, and we want that for our children. Because there's often more than one reason why people choose to homeschool, respondents were asked to rate the choices from 0 to 5, where 0 meant it didn't affect their decision, and 5 meant it heavily influenced it, and they were able to choose multiple options. The top 4 reasons people chose all focus on the benefits that come from providing an individualized education that focuses on the unique strengths, challenges, and interests of each learner. This shows that people are coming to understand a primary benefit from secular homeschooling. As noted previously, many homeschoolers also have concerns about bullying and violence. There are also people who homeschool for mental and medical health reasons. Secular homeschoolers view homeschooling as an option, not as the only answer. On average, we homeschool 1.9 children. However, respondents had an average number of 2.3 school-aged children. This highlights an important facet of the modern secular homeschool community, and that is that we are not anti-public school. Almost 19% of respondents also have children who attend a traditional school, either full or part-time. In our community, we choose whichever educational option is superior for each child. We're educating children from K to 12. I expect these numbers to grow for the later grades so that the two sides match. I expect the curve to stay as is for the lower grades. You do have people who homeschool from the start, but you also have people who don't start homeschooling until after sending their child to traditional school, where they find the situation not to be optimum for that learner. Many are homeschooling a neurodivergent learner. This encompasses a wide range of diagnoses, including ADHD, gifted, anxiety, autism, dyslexia, 2E, sensory processing disorders, and others. The high number of children from this community is not surprising, as these are learners who are much better served through the provision of an education that intentionally and thoughtfully scaffolds learners from where they are, without using arbitrary standards and timelines that don't make much sense and are honestly critically unfair when working with learners who aren't neurotypical. As you can see, the vast majority of us plan on homeschooling all the way through. We have firsthand experience that the academic benefits of an education tailored to intentionally meet the needs of the learner substantially improves learning outcomes. As evidence, on a different question, we asked if the COVID-19 pandemic changed respondents' views about homeschooling. 39% said yes, it did. 97% who answered this way stated that the change in their views was positive. This reflects the fact that the reasons we start homeschooling are the same reasons we plan on homeschooling as long as it's the best option for our kids. I love that 27% of respondents answered that they didn't know how long they would keep homeschooling. One thing we consistently hear is that secular homeschooling parents want to make the best choice academically for their child, whatever that choice is. You might be thinking, maybe we don't know what we're getting ourselves into. After all, it is a lot to provide an education to someone, but nope, the majority of us have been homeschooling for a while, and we plan on homeschooling all the way through to graduation, or as long as it's working for our children. We value their education that much. Homeschoolers are educators. We have dreams and goals for our students that are similar to those of an educator in a traditional school setting. The story here, however, is in the comment section of the survey, where many wrote saying that their goal was that their child could do anything they wanted to do, whatever they want to pursue, all options would remain on the table. This is actually reflected in the survey results, because you can see that the numbers total more than 100%. I think there were some people that clicked everything to indicate that It would be whatever their child wanted to do. It's really awesome. The overriding philosophy of a majority of secular homeschooling parents is that when children are encouraged to learn in a way that is personally meaningful, they'll grow up to be lifelong learners. We believe those individuals are in the best position to negotiate the fast-changing world we live in, where the jobs of tomorrow haven't even been invented yet. So, while we do have stated goals, our real goal is that our child gets to do whatever they want with their one wild and precious life. The data so far only shows some of what the modern secular homeschool community is about. We start homeschooling to personalize learning that's of higher quality. As already stated, we are a community of individuals who are highly invested in our children's education. We don't believe in a mono approach to learning. We're eclectic in that we understand and hold firm that the one best curriculum or pedagogy is the one that works best for each child. Our kids tend to get way more hands-on science education of higher quality. We advocate for the use of science curricula that is evidence-based. The science news we share with our children is from legitimate scientists who are working in their discipline and from peer-reviewed sources. We insist on history programs that present history honestly. That includes marginalized communities and does not present mythology as fact. This approach often involves using own voices material created by individuals who share the same cultural, ethnic, and experiential backgrounds as the subjects they're writing about. We use curricula that display images reflecting the multitude of humanity. As the world moves increasingly online, secular homeschoolers recognize media literacy coupled with critical thinking skills is more important than ever. We empower students to evaluate information critically, discern credible sources, and recognize bias, fostering informed and responsible decision-making. We are an LGBTQ inclusive community committed to creating a safe and supportive environment for all families, fostering a culture of acceptance and diversity. Modern secular homeschoolers strive to build a learning community where everyone can thrive. It includes people of all ancestries, ethnicities, and races. Now, I already mentioned this, but it bears repeating. We are a community that supports the separation of church and state. We want curricula that is secular and free from religious or political dogma. In fact, several survey respondents commented that they are from Florida or Texas and they started homeschooling because of in-class policies or the rewriting of curricula. The growth of the homeschool community, particularly online, has significantly expanded our networks. Families can now more easily connect, share resources, and offer advice through various online platforms and forums. The sense of community is invaluable, especially for new homeschooling families or those in areas where it's hard to find secular community. Online, we share solutions, recommend resources, and offer encouragement, ensuring that all families can thrive in their homeschool journey. I hope you enjoyed getting to know about the modern secular homeschool community. Join me next time for how-to information and support to help you successfully handcraft your child's journey through learning. Don't forget to like and subscribe.